What is Rotary? We're a network of people like you. In fact, we're the original social network. More than 1 million of us live just about everywhere you can think of. And we mean everywhere. We get together to exchange ideas, grow our businesses, and make new friends. We volunteer to help our own communities or someone else's. We're right around the corner. Come join us. The name is Rotary. Rotary International. You're welcome.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We're so glad you're here today. This is a club where a bunch of good people come together and do great things around this community and around the world. Take a moment real quick and turn and greet those that you haven't had a chance to yet today. Okay, she's ready. Okay, we have a great program today, so let's go ahead and get started. I love all the chatter and all the friendly faces and the smiles. I see a lot of orange out there too. I don't know why, but a little bit of orange up here too, which is unusual for me, but I'm a team player. Today, our invocation is going to be by Phil Armstrong, song and pledge by Bill Miller, and visitor introductions by past President Karen Keith. If I could have Phil now for our invocation.
Good afternoon. In light of the weekend that we're about to come upon, I thought it was interesting to note that today, May the 10th, 1908, the very first Mother's Day service was held in a church service in Grafton, West Virginia. In light of that, I'd like to read from this poem from famed African-American poet and writer Dr. Maya Angelou. Lord, thank you for your presence during the hard and mean days, for then we have you to lean upon. Thank you for your presence during the bright and sunny days, for then we can share that which we have with those who have less. And thank you for your presence during the holy days, for then we are able to celebrate you and our families and our friends. For those who have no voice, we ask you to speak. For those who feel unworthy, we ask you to pour your love out in waterfalls of tenderness. For those who live in pain, we ask you to bathe them in the river of your healing. For those who are lonely, we ask you to keep them company. For those who are depressed, we ask you to shower upon them the light of hope. You, the borderless sea of substance, we ask you to give to all the world that which we need most, peace. Amen.
Let's change it up and sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I want to welcome everybody today to the Rotary Club of Tulsa, and I love the orange that's out there. No coincidence. This is just going to be a great day here at the club. So I want to introduce some of our visitors. Tanner Eckler with Bank First is a guest of Paul Bowman. Yeah, thank you. Christina Spurlock, IMAX. That's pretty cool. John Raines. Daryl Perkins, ECT. Tony Oliva's guest. Welcome. Dan Alaback with Russ Gibbs. Where's Dan? Yeah, Dan, we got to talk. Okay. Sharib Z with the Tulsa Global Alliance, guest of Mandy Winton. Welcome. Steve Cagle with guest of Jeffrey Rudd. Thanks for coming. And Jennifer Rush, she's the ex-director of Crime Stoppers, and she's the guest of Jerry Emmons. Mary and Barney Kirkpatrick are with High Camp, along with Terry, Dicon, and Connie Camp, and these are all alums of the old Oklahoma A&M, so welcome. Janice Navarro, she's St. Francis Hospital, she's the guest of Tiffany Egdorf. And Jason Downs with Magellan, he's the guest of Tom Byers. And Aaron Stensley, also with Magellan. Thank you guys for coming. Eric Wendelboe with AEP, he's the son-in-law of our own Del Dreyer. And Peter Jansen with U.S. Sign, guest of Barney James. Rob Jones, First Oklahoma Bank, also a guest of John Raines. And Mike Bartlett with Compression Solutions, and he's a guest of Chuck Wilson. Monty Thacker with Bank First is a guest of Paul Bowman. And then moving on to I got everybody there? Yes. And now our visiting Rotarians. We are so pleased to have Laura Elmore. She's with the Rotary Club of Frisco, Texas. She is the president-elect. So welcome to Tulsa and welcome to our club. And Harlan Pinkerton with the Sand Springs Club. Please give everybody a big round of applause.
So for today, Tiffany's my hero. It took a lot of effort for her to get here. Thanks for joining us. I want to recognize this week's sponsors. We have two of them, Cara Gay Neal with Chenoweth & Cohen, and Doug Stewart with J.D. Young. Let's give them a big round of applause for their support. As usual, I would encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. I know I do, and I'm a throwback, and I have my old roster that has the vocations in the back, so we would love to see you do business with those Rotarians. And I'd also like to thank this week's additional help with putting on this program, if you'll give them a big round of applause as well. Now I'd like to call forward Jean and Casey, along with Kelly, to announce officially our male IBA recipient.
All right, well, thank you, President John. Well, we're going to be brief today because we know that you have waited long enough to find out who the male recipient is, but the wait has been worth it. So a few months ago, I was honored to be Rotarian of the Day and to announce Kelly Masters and introduce her to the club. So today, she has now come back, and she's going to make our announcement on who the male recipient is. So welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Casey, and it's wonderful to be back. Justin Wren, if you don't know that name already, you will very soon. I met Justin. He is a client of mine, but I met him in an unusual way. If you recall my story, I became a sports agent after years of practicing law in nonprofit organization law. One of my nonprofit clients is a company called Water 4. They dig water wells around the world, and they literally rescued Justin, who was dying of malaria in the Congo. Justin became their spokesperson, the spokesperson for Water 4. And I met Justin while negotiating his contract to become the spokesperson for Water 4, and I just fell in love with his heart and his passion. And I could not believe that the kindest, most gentle, most loving and sincere person I'd ever met, an athlete I'd ever worked with, was an MMA fighter. Such a shocker, but you all will see exactly what I mean when you meet him. Justin was a 10-time Texas State wrestling champion, trained by Kenny Monday and Kendall Cross, very familiar names to Oklahomans as Olympic champions. He was a national champion, an All-American, actually was invited to train at the U.S. Olympic Center in Greco-Roman. Ended up becoming a UFC fighter and was very successful on his way up as a UFC fighter, but his personal life was spiraling out of control. He found himself rock bottom, attended a men's retreat, and there God gave him a vision to go to the Congo and to fight for the Pygmy people, which he did for 5 years. He returned after those 5 years, re-entered the ring, and is now 16-2 as an MMA fighter, but he fights with a purpose. He fights to raise awareness and funds and to support his Pygmy family back in the Congo. You all will absolutely be astounded by his story, and I'm so excited to let you know how thrilled he is to be honored as an IBA recipient. I'm really looking forward to that evening. You're going to really enjoy hearing his story and honoring a very, just an exceptional citizen athlete. Thank you all for letting me share with you about Justin, and I look forward to seeing you all at the IBA Awards.
Thank you, Kelly. We have identified now for you 16 of the 18 celebrities that we have confirmed will be in attendance on June 26th. We have the other two to share with you today. If you will go to the first slide, we have the commitment of Coach Mike Boynton. He's on your screen in 2D, he's right here in 3D. And then we have former OSU and Seattle Seahawks defensive player Mark Moore. So, Casey and I like to believe that we've put together a celebrity package that hasn't been rivaled for a number of years. We were really, really careful that we wanted the best of the best, and we think we have been successful. Now, through my wife and a conversation she had with a friend the other day, somebody who's a member of our club said, "No, I'm not going to IBA because it's an OSU thing." Well, if it were an OSU thing, being a graduate of Oklahoma State myself, we wouldn't have 5 OU celebrities coming. 5 out of the 18. We have 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the room that evening. We have 2 Olympic champions in the room that evening. We have a university president in the room that evening, and a number of other people. So if you have an affinity for the University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, or Roberts University, University of Tulsa, there's a celebrity there representing your school that you're interested in. Okay, both of our keynote speakers are authors. Shannon Miller, and for those of you who haven't been here, Shannon Miller was our first female IBA recipient 24 years ago. So she is an author. Her book is titled "It's Not About Perfect: Competing for My Country and Fighting for My Life." Chris Herron, who played for the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics when he was in the NBA, he has a book titled "Basketball Junkie" that talks about his, I think, 16 years playing and fighting drug addiction. Well, our male recipient, just identified, Justin Wren, is also an author. His book is titled "Fight for the Forgotten." And I mention this to you because we are going to have 40 sets of those books autographed by each of those 3 individuals, and they are for sale, and you can place your order now. We have already received the confirmation of 2 of the 40. There's a sign-up sheet outside, and Casey, myself, committee members will answer any question you have. We have, as I stand here today, 10 gold table celebrity sponsorships available. We're no longer in the bidding phase. If you say, I want a gold table and I want that celebrity, that's the confirmation. We have 7 silver tables available where you have access to the VIP celebrity reception, 1 silver table sponsorship, and only 41 individual tickets remain. So, time to make a decision. We encourage you to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kelly, for coming back for the announcement, and Gene and Casey for your hard work. And I got to let you know, IBA, to me, with that male recipient, kind of turned a corner. And it went into a different area with a different sport and a different man with a different heart. And it also very much addressed diversity and inclusion. My son, who's 25 years old, found out that Justin Wren was going to be there and was willing to spend his money for a ticket and a tux. He has no money. So for him, this is horribly exciting. He listens to his podcasts. He's inspired by him, and he's inspired by his service work. So as an athlete, he's setting a different bar out there in the athletic world that we're living in real time. So this is an active athlete doing this, not an inactive athlete. Another little tie, Kenny Mundy was his wrestling coach. So there's a little OSU tie there, and he is currently training in Oklahoma City. So we did get a local athlete with local ties, but he's very much an international star. So thank you very much for all that work. I'd like to call forward Tony Otto to introduce our newest member to the Rotary Club of Tulsa.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce our newest member of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. Her name is Pam Ballard. She is the CEO of the Susan G. Komen Tulsa and Oklahoma affiliate. She has an associate's degree in business administration from Tulsa Community College. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in administrative leadership at the University of Oklahoma. She also has a master's degree in human relations with an emphasis in community service and concentration in organization studies from the University of Oklahoma. As I said, she is the CEO of our Susan G. Komen Tulsa and Eastern Oklahoma affiliate. She's also a certified nonprofit consultant, and she's the former CEO for the United Way of Northwestern Oklahoma. From 1995 until now, she has been a state commissioner for the Oklahoma Community Service Commission. She's served 3 terms as chair. That service to commission is by gubernatorial appointment. She originally was appointed by Governor Frank Keating and reappointed by Governors Henry and Fallin. She is a 3-term national board member of America's Service Commissions. She's conducted regional trainings for the state commissions for the Corporation for National and Community Service. And she has been invited to the White House by President George W. Bush in recognition of her volunteerism, and she's a graduate of Leadership Oklahoma. She's also a former member of the Rotary Club of Enid and the Rotary Club of Bixby. She's served on more than 25 nonprofit and boards and civic commissions, and she has some personal things. She has 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Of those 3 children, 2 were twins, or, well, I guess that would make sense. But one was a boy and one was a girl. And then of those 3 grandchildren, she's got 2 twins, which is a boy and a girl. So she enjoys water skiing, traveling, skydiving, which I just found out about. We're going to put a stop to that, and baking. And has even won the blue ribbon at the county fair for her coconut cream pie and a community contest for her cherry pie, which I'm looking forward to. So, Pam, I would like to present you your rotary pin and the 4-way test. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tony, for bringing Pam in, and we look forward to all of her contributions, and pie would be nice if we can get a hold of it. We have a couple of committee meetings today. Above and Beyond Awards is meeting in room 234, and IBA Awards is in room 233. Please join if you're a member of either of those committees, and I would imagine Above and Beyond would love to see you for next year's event at their committee meeting, as well as IBA. Have a slew of announcements, so bear with me, but there's a survey on your table. It's from the church, and it's talking about the food and the food service. Please, please, please fill this out, and please fill it out truthfully. They're looking for honest feedback about our experience here, and without it, they're going to assume it's awesome. So let's give them our good feedback, and it will help us out with some decision making. We're in the process of doing it this time. Committee selection forms are usually on your table, but today they're out by the badge boxes. And I encourage you to, in the spirit of the Kentucky Derby, pick 3 committees. So go out there, get engaged. I have some favorites, and there's some that take a lot of time and some that take a little time. But follow your heart and follow your service heart and pick 3 committees. We have a couple of condolences to extend today. The first goes out to past President Bob McKenzie, who lost his mother last week. Bob, we're sorry, and there's condolences cards on the table, so please fill them out and give Bob and his family a note. Also, condolences go out to Ed Verheller for the passing of his son, Tracy. Tracy passed away on May the 7th. He also would appreciate your thoughts and prayers. Also on the table, you'll find a get well card for a gentleman that's here. Harry Livingston is obviously doing much better. Where is he? I saw him. There he is. Well, I appreciate you joining us in your convalescence, so we're glad you're here. You might write something snarky on his card. Last chance to sign up for our May the 17th offsite meeting. Today's the last chance. This is at ORU, and it's going to include a tour of the Global Learning Center. There's 20 smart people in this room that have signed up. We should have at least 100 attend this event, if not more. It is going to be the best program of the year, by far. I've had some people pre-tour that Global Learning Center, and they say it will absolutely shape the future of how we experience things in the not too distant. So please sign up for that. DACDB, write a note, do whatever you have to do, but get signed up for that meeting and please attend. A big thank you to Michelle Place for hosting our Hot Springs Rotary Club tour to Tulsa. I know that night they had a great time. They learned a lot about Tulsa. Stand up and wave. I learned a lot about Tulsa as well, and I appreciate Michelle telling us about 500 years of Tulsa history. And I understand they had a hoot of a time and really, really had a great time. So Tulsa got to showcase to Hot Springs and Little Rock area, our great city. The flowers over here are from the Oklahoma City Club thanking us for their exchange experience. So they had a great time, and yeah, they had a great time and really appreciated it, and we really enjoyed that meeting and enjoyed having them here.
President John, this is kind of unclear. Do you sign this only if you're bringing a guest, or do you sign it if you're going to?
When in doubt, sign it all. Okay. Yeah, both. On April the 27th, a few of us went down to Oklahoma City to experience an event. We weren't sure what we were stepping off into, but it was the Oklahoma Business Ethics Consortium. We had a member here that said, hey, there's an award you guys need to apply for, and the deadline is 4 days from now. So we hustled around. Jan Lobb and mostly Catherine DeCamp did a fantastic job along with the office, getting this application together and turned in that very tight deadline. I don't know what I was thinking this was, and I don't know what any of us were thinking what it was, but it is a real deal. And we got honorable mention, and if we can get a close-up on the screen here, I don't know if we can or not, but we were singled out in their program and singled out during the program as an honorable mention recipient of the Community Impact Award. So great work to everybody that was involved in that process, and thanks for everybody that went. And they're going to have us back to host, you're shaking your head, next 2 weeks.
It's Thursday, the 20, whatever that is.
So we get to relive the receipt of our award locally in Tulsa. So I'm excited to find out that there's a Tulsa chapter, and I for one, am convinced we need to be very much engaged in this group and maybe learn more about ethics through our own speakers and stuff. But we are recognized as being a leader in Oklahoma in the ethics area of community leadership. I'd like to call up Catherine now that I've talked about you for our Sergeant at Arms.
Hello, everybody. Okay, first, I just feel like I should start apologizing in advance to the speakers because we're down to the last few weeks of our what do we call this, a fiefdom or something? And so it's just going downhill. These fines I'm getting, some of them are a little bit raunchy. So. You didn't know where I was going with that, did you?
I don't know where you're going with that.
So today we're going to kind of old school it. You all know I can't see you. So if I say your name, whether or not you paid a fine, please stand up, okay? Because that way everybody can just kind of look around and see who you are. So first of all, I have a Sarge salute that goes to Dr. Terry Lawson. And he may, oh, there he is. All right. I want to tell you that as the parent of 2 exchange students, he has rescued me twice by providing free services and free lenses, glasses, anything these kids need. And that is a big deal, a big, big, big deal. So thank you very much, Dr. Lawson. And his staff is amazing. So next, Daniel Brunson. This is a Sarge salute to the Rotaracts. So any Rotaracts here, please stand up. We loved what you did, and thank you so much. And so wanted to put a few pictures of some of the fun. I left out President John's fun pictures. Those were a little too fun. So, okay.
You were there.
Corey Nickerson. Oh, and he's not going to be here today. We had an anonymous fine come in for $50 because Corey was on television because he and his grandson graduated 50 years apart from ORU. Right. That is amazing. And I want to tell you, that's a Rotarian who's right after my heart, who snaps a photo while it's on television so they can pay a fine. So you guys need to get your game on. Get that phone out while you're watching television so we can get some fines. Next, Linda Bradshaw. Thank you. She has paid a $100 fine to congratulate her beautiful granddaughter, Samantha. Samantha is going to be at Circle Cinema on Thursday. It's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. They're going to show the movie, and then afterwards there will be a Q&A with Samantha there. So be sure that you're there. And thank you for that generous fine. Okay, and next, President John Raines has a fine that he didn't send me any pictures for, but I went out and on Facebook and I dug around and I kept finding really cute pictures of Kathy, but as soon as John was in the picture, I had to I just did what I could do for you, okay? So $18 for his anniversary with Kathy and then $50 for that really bad cow joke. Really bad. Decaffeinated, in case you want, just that's the punchline.
Now that came straight from Laffy Taffy.
Exactly, my point. Okay, and Dr. Art Rasher. Stand up. So I want you to know it was his 69th birthday on April 8th, and we've been going back and forth. I have to tell you, it's very hard for me to call my University of Tulsa professors by their first name. I'm really struggling with that after, all of these years. After decades, I still want to say, he was not my professor, but he was a beloved professor, and everybody wanted to be in his class. And that's also him with, for those of you who know Business World, he was a co-host of that for over 18 years. Fabulous job, funny show that was on public radio, Tulsa. So he's new to our Rotary. Get to know Dr. Art Rasher, please. And happy birthday. Okay, now comes the raunchy parts. So, Tom Byers, believe it or not, turned 60 years old on May 4th. I know. And he's just, this. So he said, I'll tell you what, I got $200 and I'll give you $60 for my birthday, 13 for the 13 consecutive Big 12 championships, and $127 if I'll...
Drop it. No, I mean drop the tattoo.
got some breath mints here. Just a second.
Oh.
So if I will say these three little words. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. I know. It could have been so much better, Tom. I had mints, okay? All right, that's all I have. Thank you all so much. These fines are donations to our foundation, and so keep them coming in, and we'll be doing more. We'll have our 50-50 later. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad that wasn't a tattoo thing. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, past President John O'Connor. John joined Rotary in July of 1983. He's the CEO of Newton, O'Connor, Turner, and Ketchum. He served as our club president from 03 to 04, and he's a member of the Allen Edwards Society, a Paul Harris Fellow, and a Club Foundation Fellow, along with being an avid OSU fan. An interesting fact about John is he was an International Ambassador Scholar and actually spent a year at school in Germany, law school, on that scholarship, and he's part of that family of ambassador scholars. So let's welcome John O'Connor.
Appreciate it. Thank you, President John. Well, I'm very excited to introduce our speaker today, and I'm very excited that he is the head football coach at Oklahoma State University. Basketball coach, I'm sorry. You know, what's funny was when I saw the KU deal, I started to say our speaker today is the head football coach at KU. But I didn't want to go that far. Anyway, Coach Boynton is a proven winner. He helped OSU get to 20 wins last year in the NCAA tournament. He helped develop an All-American in Jawan Evans. He, in his prior 3 years at Stephen F. Austin, had 89 wins in those 3 years, which is a phenomenal record. He's also a proven recruiter. While he was at assistant coach at South Carolina, they brought in one of their best recruiting classes, and I think you're gonna be able to tell from your time here with the coach today that he's a player's coach. And he's going to be not only an outstanding coach on the bench, but a great recruiter. And his coaching role model is Coach George Raveling, one of his coaching role models, who played at Villanova, coached at Southern Cal, Washington State, and Iowa. He was known for how deeply he cared about his players, and also about the disciplined way that his teams played. So that gives you some insight into what Coach Boynton extols and wants to copy. One of the strange things that you might not know about him, and you certainly won't read about, is that every February, as a sort of self-discipline action, he puts himself on a diet of nuts, fruits, and vegetables for the entire month. And so that is an example of personal discipline. His wife, who's a dietitian, is not sure of the value of that, he assures me, but with respect to the things that we care about in our Henry P. Iva Citizen Athlete deal, he received the Southeastern Conference's Community Service Postgraduate Scholarship for his Community Service Award. He and his wife, the former Jenny Hill, have a son who's 4 named Ace, and a daughter named Zoe who is 1. Please help me welcome Oklahoma State's head basketball coach, Mike Boynton.
First of all, I need to tell you that I'm glad that I'm not the football coach at OSU. I am incapable of growing my hair, which is kind of a requirement these days. Coach Gundy's been great, but thanks to John and John for hosting this and for inviting me. Congratulations to Justin, the recipient of the IBA Award, and to Pamela, the newest member of the club. I'm interested in that book package, so I'd like to get some information on that. I am an avid reader, so it's one of my hobbies when I have, all this time on my hands like I do these days. But first of all, thank you guys for inviting me and for having me speak to you briefly today. I feel extremely blessed to have this opportunity to just visit with you for a few minutes. I'm honored to just be speaking in front of this group. The Rotary clubs all over across the country are tremendous resources of inspiration to myself personally, and you guys represent the best of the best in a way that the best humanitarians are in this room here. The idea of self-service to others above your own interests is something I carry with me on a daily basis. So you guys are an example of what I want our program to really be like. People who really care about others, who care about each other more than their own personal interests. Excuse me. A couple of characteristics I think that match. You guys are all hardworking people, people who understand the value of giving everything you have every day. And that's obviously a big, big component of what we want our program to represent. Selflessness, something that we stress on a daily basis. Being respectful of other people, being servants to each other, and to your community, really. We think we want to teach our players that they're not just representing themselves, although they have the names of their families on the back of their jerseys. They really represent the name on the front of the jersey more so, the university as a whole, and the community of Stillwater. So we try to make sure that they understand it's more than about their ability as basketball players, that they have a bigger purpose in not only basketball but in life, to be role models to younger people. So we try to stress that to them every day. A little bit about me. I grew up in a small town of 2 million in Brooklyn, New York. I was fortunate to have a strong foundation in my home. Both of my parents were there, and I grew up with a lot of friends who didn't have that. But my parents were rock stars in my life and are still are to this day. So I had a loving support system. Did have 4 sisters, which made things a little complicated at home. And that's kind of how I gravitated to sports, really. I just had to get out of the house to go do something other than fight for a spot in the bathroom. We didn't have a big house. I mean, it was just one bathroom, and it took a while sometimes. But I love them dearly. They taught me a lot. My sisters are all dear friends to me still to this day. And I'm glad that I was able to grow up and learn some things from being around them. It helps me in my marriage sometimes now, because I know to just kind of be quiet a lot of times, or to leave the house. I didn't have any brothers, unfortunately. I had a brother who was born in 1987 when I was 5, and he died a day later, so I never got to experience having a blood brother. But basketball gave me that opportunity to have brothers and to be around other males a lot. So I found that in basketball, and it's been my life. Basketball's been my life, and it's been through relationships that I've been able to get to this point. But it all started with that little round ball with air in it. And I tell our players all the time, basketball gives you great opportunities to live, not to just play. You learn about competitiveness, teamwork, and discipline through the game. And those are things that I really, really believe have gotten me to this point that I'm at in my life. Just started with that little round ball. I would chase my dad around with his friends. I was that little 4-year-old kid that was, they would play full court down here, and I'm shooting baskets, and all of a sudden, my ball's in the air, and they're coming back down, and I can't get the ball quick enough to get out of the way, and all these old men are mad because this little 4-year-old kid is in the way of their game on a Saturday morning in Brooklyn. So that was my first experience, and I always remember that to this day. But I learned through basketball, all those characteristics which give you a chance to have success. Toughness and discipline, commitment to your craft, and to every day having a great attitude that you're going to give your best. not to get discouraged when things don't go well, and to keep on trucking along. And I'm standing here as an example. I'll give you a quick story. So about a year and 2 months ago, I was an assistant coach at Stephen F. Austin with Coach Underwood, who's since left us. And he got this job here, and I interviewed for the head coaching job at Stephen F. Austin. There was no way you could convince me at that moment that I wasn't going to get the job, to be perfectly honest. I'd been there for 3 years as his top assistant. We had won 89 games in 3 years, been to the NCAA tournament every year. 89 wins in 3 seasons is the most by any program in a 3-year period, in the first 3 years of a coach. And so naturally I thought, well, this administration, they want to keep this thing going, right? You know, build off of what we've done and keep the recruits and the players happy. And I had a lot of support internally, and they decided to go in a different direction. For whatever reason, they hired someone else. And I was never more disappointed professionally than at that moment when they called and said, hey, we're going to hire someone else. But a year and a month later, after I came here as an assistant coach, I find myself as the head coach at Oklahoma State University, and I'm so thankful to the people at Stephen F. Austin. That they chose to go in a different direction, and the good Lord placed me here for a purpose. So I'm looking forward to representing you, not the Jayhawk guy, excuse me. I've got great respect for that program, but that run needs to end soon. I actually got a chance to spend some time with Coach Self in Phoenix last week at Big 12 meetings, and you know he's his usual happy self, which I guess you can always be happy when you win the championship every year. And he's talking about he's losing this player and he's losing that player, and I'm like, hey man, people are transferring to Kansas just to not play, like, because you know, they'll have like 6 transfers next year. Like at Kansas, this doesn't happen, man. But he'll understand what I mean by that. But I always try to preach to our players that, again, they represent more than just themselves and their family. They represent the community of Stillwater as well. And so we go out and we try to represent that with a lot of pride. You know, 3 pillars of our program are pride, passion, and purpose. We try to play that way every day. From a basketball standpoint, we want to play with great pride to represent the name on the front of that jersey. We want to have a passion for what we do, because we feel like if you don't have passion, what we do is as much time as we have to spend at it, then maybe you should find something else to do. And then always do things with a purpose. Have a goal in mind and strive toward achieving that goal. So those are 3 things that we talk about on a daily basis. Our teams, from a basketball standpoint, some people are curious, how's this new guy going to coach? Going to coach a lot like I played. I was a guy who wasn't the most talented guy, but I got by on toughness and hard work and discipline. And I was a defensive-minded player, and I'll be a defensive-minded coach. Every great team that I've been around or been associated with has been really good defensively. Those 89 wins, a lot of them came because we were really good defensively. And us getting to the tournament this year was because we made an adjustment defensively midway through the year when we were 0-6 and about to put our heads to a wall at the end of January about how do we get our team better. So defense will be first and foremost as a priority to us. On the offensive end, a lot of that from year to year will depend on what talent we have. Juwan Evans was a huge key to our team last year, so we did a lot of things tailored to him. He won't be back, unfortunately. I'm sure the Kansas guy's not mad about that. I think he had like 29 and 15 assists or something crazy. Just a really talented kid, but we'll still run and play really fast. We'll still try to shoot the ball early and often and score a lot of points, because players like to play that way, and I know fans like to see that type of action. So from a basketball standpoint, you can expect an up-tempo style on the offensive end. Our ultimate goal is to develop enough depth that we can play 9 or 10 guys consistently and be able to continue to play fast and almost furious, but control chaos, so to speak. From a recruiting standpoint, we want to recruit the best of the best. Maybe I'm just too naive to think that Oklahoma State has just as good of resources and facilities and fan support as anybody in the country. So we won't back down from anybody in recruiting. And I'm sure people who follow it, some of you may not, we're going to recruit the same guys that everybody in the that are so-called blue bloods, they recruit. We'll offer those guys scholarships and pursue those children and try to get to know their families and get them to come play at Oklahoma State University. So we feel really good about our roster, where we are, even though losing Juwan was kind of a blow to us. We were able to kind of replace him, at least in the interim, with a graduate transfer from Cal State Northridge, a kid named Kendall Smith. So he'll play a lot for us next year as a senior. Then we also have a kid who's going to sit out as a transfer next year named Michael Weathers. And we'll have another young man named Zach Dawson who'll be a freshman with us next year. We'll continue to recruit like always. I think we don't have a scholarship to give right now, but the way college basketball is, you always have to be aware of what's out there. So we're always mindful of what's going on in the recruiting world. With that being said, we feel like as a staff, we have everything in place to make deep runs in the NCAA tournament every year. Every year. There's no reason we shouldn't be playing on the second weekend and sometimes the third weekend in late March and trying to win a national championship. Got great fan support. Some of them a little extreme. And that's okay. I'd rather that than have people not care, to be honest. We got a great history. Winning 2 national championships is a big deal. It means it can be done. It's been done before. Been to the Final Four, a couple of other occasions, excuse me. And we've been a program that's shown that we can develop guys and give them an opportunity to play in the NBA, which is what all these kids grew up wanting to do. So we've got everything in place to give ourselves a chance to win at a high level and be really competitive in the Big 12, and then also on a more national scale as we go into the NCAA tournament. As far as my staff, I've got Lamont Evans, who's the associate head coach with us. He was with us last year. He's a dynamic recruiter. Above that, he's a tremendous person, has great care for our children, and they feel that, which was a big deal to me. Hired a guy named John Cooper, who coached me for a year at South Carolina, and he's been a head coach for the last 9 years at 2 different stops. He'll be a great asset to me my first year as a head coach. And I'm actually picking up a young man this evening who's going to interview for the 3rd assistant spot over the next couple days that we hope to add him. Got Keaton Page, the Pawnee Pistol, sticking around for some more time. I think he's just going to buy a retirement home in Stillwater, and he'll pay it off as he gets there. And once he gets to retirement, he'll be good. He's been around Stillwater forever. Played there and then has been around as a staff member for 10 years or so, Larry, something like that. Our schedule's really competitive. It's not finished. We'll play 2 games back in that small town of Brooklyn next year. We'll play Wichita State at home, which will be a really good game because they'll be probably ranked preseason top 10. And then obviously the Big 12, we'll have to go through that gauntlet every year. So we're excited about it. Again, I'm thankful to have you guys. I hope that I know we got an OU person over here and a KU person over there, so it's not necessary for them. But anybody else who wants, please buy season tickets and come out and support the Cowboys. We're really excited about the direction we're going and look forward to having you guys in Gallagher as much as possible in this fall and winter. Anybody have any questions while I'm here? I'll take as many as I can, or as many as you want. Yeah. Can I slow down? Hold on. I mean, I know like in February I won't be able to say, hold on, like slow down, but right now I'm down 5. I just got a timeout though, right?
42 seconds left and the other team gets the ball inbounds. I mean, what goes on with the timeout call like that?
Well, we probably have to think if we have to foul, that the other team has the ball, we probably have to foul, right? I mean, to extend the game and give ourselves as many offensive chances as possible to be able to come back. But, yeah, that'll be one we'll probably call them for a foul pretty quickly.
Is that doable?
42 seconds is a lot of time in basketball. Yeah. It's not like football where you can just run a clock down. There's only 35 seconds per play or whatever. 42 seconds is a lot of time. And I think I'll be pretty judicious with my timeout call, and I won't use them as much as some other coaches early in the game. Yeah.
Shot clock, I know it reduced here recently.
I haven't heard much more about the shot clock going below 30. It's just a different game when you get to that point from a strategic standpoint. The NBA guys can do that, but that's the absolute 1%ers of the world that can play and be able to, get the game moving that quickly. But I don't see college basketball going below 30, and it really hasn't been talked about as far as I know in the last couple of years since we've gone to 30 from 35.
Tell us about your experience when Coach Holder called you and told you you had the job.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a heck of a week. I mean, some of you may have heard some of this stuff, and if you have, I hate to repeat it again, but so, you got like every emotion possible within a week's period of time. So we're getting ready for the NCAA tournament, which is like chaos for 4 or 5 days after Selection Sunday. And we play on a Friday, and we play really early. But you're always thinking about if you win, you're going to play again. And so I didn't have the Michigan scout. I was getting ready for Louisville, actually, in hopes that we would win. So I'm kind of still anxious. I'm trying to help the guy who had the scout for Michigan prepare, but I'm more watching film on Louisville, and all right, if we win, we're going to have to put a game plan together pretty quickly because we're going to play in like 48 hours. And as soon as the game is over, you're kind of shocked that the season is just over, just like that. I mean, you go from this excitement, and it was a close game at halftime. We may have been winning at halftime. And I'll go back even. It was a game we thought we could win, and we did almost everything possible to win except for play defense. We scored 91 points. In the NCAA tournament game, we shoot 50-something% from the field and only have 9 turnovers. And we out-rebound them by 20. We have like 30 more possessions, except they're like the team of destiny. They had the plane crash thing going on with them. And so they were like, they shot like 1,000% from the field, which is, it made every shot, it felt like they didn't miss a shot all game. So you lose, and you're like, man, the season's over. You hate it for Phil Forte and Leighton Hammonds, who will never have the opportunity to put on the jersey again as Cowboys. So you're disappointed and shocked all at the same time. And then if you play early in the NCAA tournament, they like, you got to leave. It's like a cutoff time. It's like if you play like after 4, you get to stay overnight. But if you don't, we played at like, 12 or something. And so we were done at like 2 o'clock, and they called us in the locker room. It was like, hey, you guys, there's going to be a plane at the airport for you in like 3 hours. So shower, go back to the hotel, pack, and we'll have somebody there for you. So now you got all that going on. We got families there, and so we try to get out. And I'll shorten the story real quick. So we get out, and you're disappointed, and now you're starting to think about, all right, next season, what do we have to do? Recruiting, need to get on the road, patch some holes. And we get back into Stillwater that night on a Friday about 10:30. It's a Friday, and my car was towed from the airport. And so then I dealt with that, and I'm like, what is going on? This is like a nightmare. So I get my car finally. Somebody gave my wife and kids a ride home while I went and got the car. It cost me about $300. I still don't know why I got towed, but anyway. Get home, and I'm watching some of the other games, and I'm still pissed. I'm watching our game on replay. So I wake up the next morning, and every season since I've been married, the day after the season, I tell my wife, honey, I say it kind of through biting my teeth, the day is yours. Whatever you want, I'm good with. I'll take the kids. Usually that means we go shopping. I sit in the car and listen to the Wiggles in the back or something. And so we did that. On Saturday, we left home at like 10 o'clock or whatever, and I'm hoping the kids will sleep through nap time so I can turn on sports radio or something. But I get a text message at like 1:30. It says we're having a meeting at 3 o'clock. It's like, that's strange. It's the day after the season. It's Saturday. It's spring break. Like, there's really not a reason to have a meeting today other than you've been in the business long enough. You either got fired, which I didn't think was very possible, or the coach took another job. And I had to think to myself, is it worth me giving this day back or trying to tell my wife that she has to get out of that dressing room? And so I thought better of it, and I just went with my gut and said, you know what? I'm going to miss the meeting. I'm just not going to go. So I didn't even make it back. And so coach tells the team, and eventually I find out on Twitter because these reporters start calling me right before the announcement comes out, trying to confirm it, and I didn't know. And so now I'm just like, all right, excuse me, for lack of a better term, what the hell does this mean for us? You know? So I'm like, hey, I know this is like the full day, but can we might cut it like 2 hours short so I can get back and try to figure out what's going on? So we get back, and I drop them off at the house, and I go try to find the rest of the staff, and everybody's frantically scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on. And so long story short, the Sunday, because I missed the meeting, I'm working out because I do that basically every day. And Coach Holder comes into the weight room, and I'm thinking he was just going to say, hey, I hope you heard the news. Coach Underwood's leaving. I'll need your keys on Tuesday or whatever. And he says, do you mind can you come up to my office when you're done? And I say, sure. I go up and talk to him. We have a good talk, mostly pretty general about where I think the team can be, how good I think we could be next year if we kept the roster together, where we are recruiting-wise and stuff like that. He calls me back on Monday. We have another talk, nothing serious. And then on Tuesday, he calls and says, hey, do you think you can do this job? Absolutely. What do you say? No. Coach, nope, don't think so. So yeah, absolutely, I think I can do the job. He said, well, I'd like for you to interview for it. And Thursday I interview, and I'll tell you a story about my wife real quick. So Thursday I interview, she knew I was interviewing, I'm nervous. I go in, I'm the first of 5 guys interviewing. I'm like 8 o'clock in the morning. 9:30, we're gonna drive over to Tulsa because she does that once a week. She needs some company this time. She may be here now at Woodlands Hills for all I know. So I get back in the car, and she's like, so? Well, 5 minutes, she's quiet. I don't say anything. I'm trying to go through my mind, what did I miss? Just job interview stuff, right? And she says, so, did you get the job? Like, I don't think so. I mean, I was the first guy to interview. I think they got 4 more people, I'm pretty sure. Maybe we'll hear something tomorrow. And she says, oh, I thought you were good enough that they wouldn't interview anybody else. So that's the kind of confidence she has in me, and I'm very appreciative of that. But again, Friday comes, he calls, I have a follow-up interview with the president, a couple other people, and by Friday afternoon, he calls me into his office and offers me the job. And I'm very, very appreciative. I'm excited. I'm starting to think of all the things that need to be done immediately. And they whisked me into the sports information office, and they want to get a statement and some pictures. And I need to go get a suit all at the same time. So it's like 1,000 things at once, and my phone, this stuff starts to get out. It's like on steroids or something. And so I get back to Coach Holder's office because there's a couple players in town that I want to tell, hey, I'm going to be your coach. They were excited. And then I thought it was like 20 minutes, and I hadn't called my wife. And I was like, oh, man, this is not going to be good. So I call her, and she's like going crazy, like, I can't believe you didn't call me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. She was okay. It was a good thing. So, it's not like it was bad news I wanted to deliver to her. But yeah, it was a crazy week. It was a crazy week, but I'm really, really thankful for him and our board for giving me this opportunity. Really excited about the opportunity to lead this program and follow guys like Coach Sutton and Coach Iba, who've done a great job of building this culture up and this fan base, and really looking forward to it. I hope the story wasn't too long, but I couldn't let those details go because they were pretty important. Thank you.
Do you want to call up Larry Reese real quick?
Yeah.
I'll use him in a minute.
Okay. I'm not in a rush to leave, so anybody who wants to stick around, I think some people probably have to leave for work. I'll be around to kind of mix and mingle for a little bit. Larry Reese, if you would come up for a second, please. Larry is the voice. Okay.
I'll use you in a second, Larry. Hang out close. I'd like to call back Catherine as she's coming up. We have a book recognizing today's program. If John can hold it up, it's also on the screen. It's called Beautiful Hands. That will be given to our adopted school, Celia Clinton Elementary, and Coach Boynton's already inscribed a note to the kids in there, so we thank you very much for that. So we did decide to restart the 50-50, and so we will have a drawing today. So if Catherine can kick that off.
Yes, I can. I will tell you that the pot is already at $289, and so I'm going to have Coach draw the ticket. Draw a ticket, make a good one. Okay, the winning ticket is, well, the almost winning ticket is 805-7011. Now, while we're waiting, Tom, he got a lot of like Jayhawk hits in there, didn't he? If you bring me $200 on the 24th, it'll be Jayhawk Day, okay? And I'll talk about Jayhawks. But he isn't committed until we see a Pistol Pete tattoo on him, okay? So, that's right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look at you. I'm sorry, Charlie. Here we go. You ready? I know, it's like I was talking to Tom. I'm so sorry. So, yay, you. Let's do it. Hey, do it just the first time. That would be kind of fun.
All right.
10 of spades. So, thank you very much for playing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine. As mentioned before, next week, the Global Learning Center, ORU, off-site. Don't come here. If you do, we'll charge you a fine. It will be at ORU. You'll get an email. Please sign up for that and please go. They are very excited to host us, and it will be a great, great meeting. The 24th, Tony Moore with the Gathering Place is going to be here. So we get a little kickoff on Inside Scoop and the progress of that project, so that'll be a great program. And on May the 31st, John Franklin will be here. He's the Director of External Affairs for the new Smithsonian's African American Museum, which has a room dedicated to Tulsa. And he'll be here to talk to us about the Smithsonian and this new wing for Tulsa. So please join us for these programs. Think of a guest that you can bring for those. And I'm going to turn to Larry to adjourn us.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you all for having us over here today. What a great group. And how about our new head basketball coach, Mike Boynton? Isn't he great? I know there are a bunch of O-Staters out there, so like Coach Boynton said, we're going to stick around. If you'd like to visit a little bit about all things OSU, we'd like the Jayhawk to move on, if that's all right. Sooners, we're kind of waffling on you as well. But no, thank you all. It's a great time to be a Cowboy, and we appreciate you having us over here. And as a fellow Rotarian out of God's country, Stillwater, Oklahoma, I'll tell you we are adjourned.
All right. I didn't know you were Rotarian. Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Good to see you.